Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. This week, we have an elimination match for everyone here. My name is Shinkari. I'm joined by Arlen, and we have ourselves a very important match tonight. Infernal Dive and G&E are going to fight for their lives in this tournament. G&E Aquamarine got a bye last week, and now Infernal Dive is looking to redeem themselves after losing to Imperial Gaming round one of the upper bracket. Now, these two teams here, once again, they're fighting to stay alive in this tournament, and they have a whole lot to prove. Arlen, are you ready?
Gary, I am indeed ready. I am stoked to cast this one. I can't wait to see if they bring something spicy out. In these last few patches, quite a few strong junglers have been taken off the board. Most notably, the Hecarim completely nerfed into the ground. Other strong picks as well rising up in prevalence, such as the Gangplank, right? So interesting to see whether or not they pick that. Zeri also been heavily nerfed multiple times,
Yeah.
and I think this last one
Wow.
is. Last one is finally going to be the one to do it. So, already, speaking of the strong AD carries, they're going to be taking away the Jinx, taking away Vladimir, Lux, and Grave. So, what first pick does Infernal Dive go for?
I mean, it's gotta be some sort of comfort pick here, right? If you're going to go for, if you're going to lock in first pick here, especially around gold, I think I've thrown this phrase around a whole lot when talking to folks here, but comfort is king. If you have the most amount of time on a particular champion, you're going to do a lot better on that champion than whoever it is whatever S or S plus tier or S plus plus tier or Omega tier or however you like to categorize your tier lists. You're probably going to perform better on that champion than you will on whichever one is at the top of those tier lists.
Absolutely, 100%. But speaking at the top of the tier list, definitely a champion near the top of the tier list is going to be that Volibear getting picked up for Infernal Dive. They're going to respond with something a lot less, prevalent. I think this is going to your comfort point. They're going to grab the Vi in return. Interesting one that you look to pair with maybe an Ari, but no, it looks like it's going to be the Victor picked up. So something can get her that priority in the mid lane that she so desperately needs. And they can kind of look to play in the enemy jungle here using some of the early dueling power the Vi possesses.
Yeah, for sure. And I thought that we'd probably get some, some arcane synergy here, but Jinx is already taken off the table. So doesn't look like we're going to be getting it that time. But we do have a little bit of arcane synergy. Maybe we see a Jace up in the top lane for G&D Aquamarine here. Maybe. We still have some champions on the table still, but we'll have to still yet to see that. Aphelios locked in for Infernal Dive here. This does mean that Nautilus is probably a very good support to go along with Aphelios. But Syndra, a pretty good lock-in, I'd say. A pretty good AP carry to go into that mid lane there. A good burst mage that does fit into a whole lot of comps.
Absolutely. Really good answer into the Victor as well. Whereas the Victor brings that early wave priority and wave clear, Syndra brings that early kill pressure, right? And it's really good setup with the Volibear. And it kind of makes that 2v2 that you're looking to secure with the Victor Vi a lot harder to do, right? Because they have the power to instantly burst down one person, keep them stun locked the entire time, and then they can quickly turn to deal with the Vi, right? So either way, good pickup. I really do like it. And Samira into Aphelios, that's going to be interesting because now both teams are kind of gunning for that Nautilus like you were talking about, right? So maybe a Nautilus, maybe a Rel, something coming out. Definitely going to be spicy in the bot lane.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely going to be a pretty quick, very high priority lock in here, especially because Moonstone Renewer, as we talked about this new patch, Moonstone Renewer was pretty hardly hit. So, playing an Enchanter on this patch definitely doesn't feel as good as it used to be unless you're going right for that Shirelia's battle song, right? So, Nautilus does rise in priority if, the itemization for Enchanters does go down. So, we'll have to see how the rest of this looks like. I definitely think that there's going to be a very, very high priority on the Nautilus here, which makes this Lulu ban to me okay, no. Okay. They're going to be... Oh, okay, yep, there it is. All right. There it is right off the bat. I was like, it feels strange that you would ban Lulu with Nautilus just having so much high priority here. But this does still leave a bunch of other hook champions still on the table, right? Thresh is still on the table. Blitzcrank is still on the table as well. Doesn't quite get that arcane synergy, but definitely gets a little bit of a flavor judge win as Blitzcrank was made by Victor. But Sion here, I think is a pretty good lock-in. I think Sion is definitely a very, very good beefy tank to go alongside the Vi here.
Yeah, it's no Ornn. It's no mage bruiser assassin AP carry tank Ornn, but you know it's not that bad of a pick. It's
Yeah.
close to that. It's missing the AP aspects of it.
Hmm.
But yeah, I like the Scion. It can get a little bit risky if you aren't ready to deal with Wukong, who was also recently buffed.
Yeah.
Very strong. A lot of you know saw him spike up in pick rate and win rate. Generally
Hmm.
picked in the jungle. I think the jungle buff. It's more of a jungle buff, but either way, still super strong. But
Right.
Seraphine hover with the Ophelio, so they're just looking to scale down the spot side,
Yeah.
and they give over the counter pick to Genie, and you know more than likely they're just going to be looking at that engage. So maybe a Rel coming out, but Cho'Gath into the Scion, and a tank killer into one of the quintessential beefy tanks of League of Legends. So interesting to see how they play out this matchup. Interesting to see where the teams kind of focus, and it all comes down to the support pick right here.
Yeah, and I definitely like these two kind of big, beefy tanks kind of up in the top lane here. There isn't a whole lot of innate like tank killing potential that Infernal Dive has kind of locked in here. So there's kind of just a whole lot of just issues. So by just having Scion just being a huge pool of HP directly in front, now Aphelios might not be able to build the shield bow, right? He might have to go into the Kraken Slayer, which is not optimal for him. Is going to be able to make him a lot more frail in these team fights. And it also means he might have to build into the Blade of the Rune King as well, which is another not optimal choice, especially after those nerfs, right? But you've got 3 huge HP bars on the enemy team. You're going to have to be able to cut through that somehow. And Aphelios really seems to be the only person to be able to do that.
Yeah, absolutely. Syndra can go into the Shadow Flame, the Horizon
Yeah.
Focus, items that kind of buff up her killing potential for tanks, but realistically, like you said, it's got to be Aphelios doing most of the damage to tanks. Volibear has to kind of step up as well. I expect him to build that Divine Thunder, right? Really try to just cut through the tanks as much as possible. Cho'Gath, he has to be like a deterrent for the Samira. It has to be super hard for the Samira to be able to dash into the back line. Otherwise, he's got to be there ready with his ultimate just to chop away at her and really make it hard for her to do what she wants to do. But you did predict the Blitzcrank, and that's something I really want to point out, because I think this kind of, on one team, we have a dive comp coming out from Infernal Dive, right? Or not a dive comp, a front to back comp, my fault. On the other team, we kind of have a little bit of a skirmish, a little bit of a poke, a little bit of a dive, a little bit of a split, right? I really like this Blitzcrank because it kind of breaks down the team fight and turns it into more of a forced skirmish if you can hit the critical hook target.
Yeah. And that's really what we need to be looking for as well, right? Like when you have a Blitzcrank on your team very quickly becomes a pick comp regardless of kind of what you picked before it, right? Because your team just has an ability that just kind of separates the entire enemy team, throws off the entire whatever prep work they were able to do before the team fight is now completely thrown to the wayside, because now you have to fight a 1v5 in some cases, or even a 1v4 that has to immediately, just on a dime, like everyone has to respond or else that person is dead, and then you have no follow-up, and then it's a 4v5, right? So this even though they have drafted somewhat of a pretty standard front to back comp with some pretty decent like team fighting champions here with lots of AoE abilities, right? We got Scion, we have Victor, we have Samira here. Blitzcrank just says, well, you were just fighting one of them right now, and if they come out to fight us 5v4, then whatever, I guess.
Yeah, I really do like Blitzcrank. He's, whenever you're predicting draft, you're saying which draft is better, and you're kind of comparing and contrasting the two different drafts. Blitzcrank is always that X factor. No matter what, at the end of the day, someone can always kind of break down your argument with well, if Blitzcrank hits that critical hook, it doesn't matter, does it, right? He's just the best hook champion in the game, because he doesn't kind of go halfway to the target. It's not a halfway pool like Pike or Thresh. It's not a halfway meet like Nautilus. It's unlike any other hook in the game, because it brings the target all the way to the character. That's what makes Blitzcrank so incredibly good as a hook champion, and that's what's going to be so important for us here to watch. So if he's able to smurf on this Blitzcrank, absolutely huge. If he's not able to, then it's a really bad pick, and you really wish you had a Leona.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, well, I'm gonna have to watch how I'm just gonna say Makia. we're just gonna have to see how they play out this, right? That's really gonna come down to, because I think both of us are pretty much in agreement that like there are a lot of very good targets to be grabbing on Infernal Dive here. They have a Seraphine, they have an Aphelios, and they have a Syndra, all of which are very squishy targets that, you know, Volibear and Cho'Gath are going to have a hard time getting to the fight and responding to, right? Volibear is really going to, like, all he has is just his movement speed, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't have, like, an ability that's going to put him in the middle of the fight or even disrupt from a pretty decent far away, right? He's going to have to press the ultimate almost immediately to respond. So these kind of 3 champions here are going to be pretty much at the mercy of Machina when he throws out that hook, right? So we're really going to have to be paying attention to that a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, shifting the focus back to the top side of the map a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's focus on the Volibear. You were talking about the movement speed and how he has kind of limited ways to get into a fight until level 6. Once that level 6 is achieved, though, I think, you know, like around that time, Levi is going to be able to have the Lost Chapter, a bigger mana pool, and that mana pool, right, that little time period when Levi has the mana pool and 70 doesn't have their first E upgrade is their dive time. That's their go button, right? Because that allows Syndra to actually get priority in the lane before Victor can literally just clear it with 1 E. Allows to get priority, push in that wave, and then they can look for something that most teams don't really go for, that mid lane dive, jump over the Raptor wall, smack down the Victor, and then they can start to expand their map pressure from that mid lane. That's a play I'm looking for them to quite possibly look at, but still using the Volibear's ultimate to disable those turrets. Huge thing they can look for at top, they can look for at bot, but mid lane, if they're able to get the Syndra rolling, even a beefy Scion is still going to take about half their HP damage from 2 balls.
Yeah. I mean, that's definitely a good target. I think some attention might be thrown more into this bot lane here, just because Aphelios is a champion that can snowball out of control, and if he's able to get that lead pretty early, it's gonna be very hard to stop him, especially if he starts building in some of those kind of defensive type of items that let him just sit in the team fight for a very long time, especially with that red-white gun, right? Like that is also going to be some important. So I'm really looking for Attack Titan to really look at this bottom half of the map, because Cho'Gath's going to be fine. Cho'Gath is fine. He's just going to sit up in an island for a very long time, eat some minions, and then come back and he's going to be a kaiju, right? Like I think for the most part, like this top lane, whilst both these folks are probably going to fight each other at least a couple times, I think it's mostly just going to be a farm fest up there, because Strike Ekka on the Scion here is going to be stacking up a whole bunch of HP and trying to be a big HP bar, and it's going to be the same thing for Doggeroo on the other side, right? It's really going to be Nicktones and Levy and 70s and Victory Slash here are going to be kind of the primary carries here, and that's where we're going to be seeing a lot of Platypus Killer and Attack Titan here.
Absolutely. You know, Strideka, Doggeroo. If they do fight, it's going to be Wet Noodle. It doesn't even matter. Well, I say that, but one thing I do talk to my players a lot when I'm coaching is, in a tank versus tank matchup, it doesn't matter until it matters. It doesn't matter that you get solo killed a few times, but all of a sudden, when they have 5 kills on you and they have all the plates and they're pushing down the tier 2 in the top lane with an unkillable Scion, that's when it matters, and that's when you realize that you messed up your laning phase. However, if they only have like 1 kill or 2 kills and they aren't taking all the plates and out farming you like a madman, then it's probably fine, right? So that's something, like you said, less likely to have a lot of focus in the top side. Everywhere else, we have to expect something spicy, because one thing we haven't really touched on a lot is the Vi. The Vi, super uncommonly seen in competitive play at all ranks, right? You just don't really see her, but when she does get picked, it's usually one of those really hit or miss picks. It's either really bad or, oh my gosh, why isn't she always picked? This guy is absolutely smurfing. And I really hope for their sake it's one of the times where he's absolutely smurfing.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, we are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the Rift of Game 1 of Infernal Dive versus G&E Aquamarine in this elimination match of the ZGG Gold Series playoffs. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by Arlen, and we are on the Rift of Game 1 of Infernal Dive versus G&E Aquamarine. We are ready to get this game underway. It's an elimination match for these two teams. Infernal Dive looking to avenge themselves after their loss in the upper bracket of Week 1, and G&E looking to prove themselves in their first game of the playoffs here as Machina doing the Blitzcrank thing. Level 1, gotta invade.
Absolutely, and I mean, you do it with a Nautilus who has an inferior hook to the Blitzcrank, so why not do it with, like I said, the best hook champion in the game? But Nicktoons did spot out, was able to secure himself, that little bit of safety. But in the top side, look at that. They're able to get down some vision, start playing on the enemy side, maybe look to vertical potentially, but Machina and squad, they're kind of reading the play.
Yeah, there might be some trouble here. I think they might have spotted out Levy. I think they might be in some trouble here. But good. Okay, we're throwing down some abilities already. Here comes Volibear from the set. Great Rupture. Platypus Killer actually taken pretty low here. Strike Ekka is still pretty low as well. First Blood goes over to Suicidal. She's able to pick up that first kill there, but Strike Ekka is still looking for a little bit more here. Levy's in some trouble, taking up some Scion damage here. That's actually going to be one kill. Going over Scion here. Victory Slash picking up a second here. Nicktoons now looking for some more here, but Victory Slash goes forward. That's going to be the Ignite coming down from Machina here. They're still trying to go forward. Nicktoons looking for that last bit of damage. Can they find it? Not this time. Flashing forward, looking for Victory Slash. They heal up just a little bit more. They're trying to get through, but Levy's going to be the one picking up the kill this time. Doggaroo trying to get away. There's the Rupture one more time. Flash forward by 70s. Can they get the last auto? Absolutely. Levy's trying to get away from 70s now. Walks into the laser beam, still incredibly low, but here comes Attack Titan in from the side. The Thunder is coming down. 70s is real low. He's getting just a little bit more. Levy picks up another kill. It's a bloodbath. 7 kills, 2 minutes. That's what you get here at ZGG Gold. Holy moly, what a start.
What is going on? Why? Yes. That's what I'm going to go for. That was amazing. Absolutely love this stuff. I love the strategy coming out from the side of Infernal Dive just to walk in there and get vision, because you know that the invade's going to come out on the bot side. So why not just get in there and start getting down vision, potentially set up for that vertical, right? I don't like the fact that Levy was kind of outside the bush, not really there with his team and hiding, and then maybe they could potentially burst a target. I also don't like the fact that they gave still kills over to a Samira, but at the end of the day, they kind of got gold exactly where they needed to on both sides. The Victor got gold, Victory Slash got gold, Levy got gold, and the Samira kind of got, Seraphine kind of got gold, so kind of weird, but forcing out the Flash is Machina right there. So back to game normal. Kind of, right now we're looking at a lot more of an advanced map state. A lot more people have gold than necessarily they should have. Scion has the boots level 1, looking to use those to run down his opponent, start securing that lane pressure, and allowing for the Vi to have some room to really invade this Volibear.
Yeah, when you take a look at the gold already built up by the teams here, and yeah, it makes no surprise here as Victory Slash has the most amount of gold here. Nicktoons in some trouble here. Hook comes out, not going to land. Can he sidestep? Not going to be able to sidestep the cease and desist. That's going to be Platypus Killer getting another successful kill over to Victory Slash here. 3-1-2 on the Samira very early on. This is looking really good.
Oh, it's looking so good for Genie. It's looking very scary for Infernal Dive. But for Genie, this is exactly what you want. You want to re-gank Nicktoons on this immobile AD carry with no flash, no heal. Only Suwu has the exhaust. And we're going to take a quick replay. You're going to see this early scrum, a flash out from Attack Titan, but he flashed right into Machina on the Blitzcrank, so he's going to start hitting away at him, look to secure this hook right here. And it's going to come out, and he's going to dash in, pick that up super easily, and then from there, it's just Victory Slash, slashing, dashing, and dicing, looking for Nicktoons. And one thing you have to know about Samir passes is that when she's in close melee range, she gets extra damage. That's why he flashed here on Nicktoons to get that extra damage, and it's more than enough to take him out. He does end up dropping here to Levy, but I still think this is more than worth, especially when 70s just walks over, picks up the kill with a few auto attacks. But after that play, it doesn't look as good because he does get run down at the end of the day. But going back to live, we're sitting at about 400 gold difference between the two teams, about 500, but it's going to be a gank up here in the top lane.
Oh yeah, Doggaroo is in some trouble here. Good initiation by the Vi here, trying to turn it around. Not going to be able to find it this time. Platypus Killer is finally able to put themselves on the scoreboard, putting themselves at 1-0-2 as the big bug goes down.
Yeah, very nice gank. Like, with so many people not having flashes, this is Vi's playground. But Attack Titan, he also sees the opportunity to go in and get some kills, but doesn't quite find the gank. They saw it coming, they read the play, but using the lane pressure they just got, it does allow them to start up this early Drake, and 70s can't get the rotate down for himself.
Yeah, I like this play by Infernal Dive here, trying to start this early dragon. They did see Platypus Killer in the top half of the map, but here they come already down here. They might have to seed the dragon away. All right, looks like they're backing off here.
Yeah, both teams backing off. They just didn't have enough time between Levy shoving the wave and rotating, and Victor clearing the wave and rotating as well. So maybe if they had more lane pressure, a little bit more priority, they could have gotten away with that play. But with 4 members rotating down here, Feel is split off from you, it's just not a viable play.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what they need to be looking for here. I mean, I do like the risk here, honestly. Like, they're down in gold for sure. They're down about 1,000 gold. And at this stage of the game, that's a whole lot, right? And a lot of it's on the bottom half of the map here. So if you're able to take your jungler and just grab an early Drake and put some gold into your pockets here, that's a really great place to kind of even out the gold and get some money into the bottom pockets here as Attack Titan comes through. Going to be the lightning coming down. Attack Titan is going to be the one picking up the kill here and standing directly on top of the corpse as if to maybe mock Levy is like, haha, you did not get the kill, but I did. As Machina is looking for a little bit more here, able to land the hook onto Suicidal. She goes up into the air. That's trying to turn it around here, but I think they might have spotted out Vi here by that ward. So I think they're just going to back off from the river here and just seed this minion wave over to the red team.
Absolutely. And you know, one thing I was about to talk about as we saw Attack Titan just flash in on mid lane there is the fact that while they are down gold in the bot lane, they're up gold in the mid lane. Levy on this Syndra is doing very well for himself, farming equally with the Victor, which is what you want to see, but most importantly, having a kill over the Victor, but 2-0 nonetheless. That's a huge thing that you really want to leverage, because like I said, even a fed Syndra can deal with a super strong tank in the Scion, and he's stacking health very quickly. So to have a super strong Syndra who can one-shot everybody in this game, that's what they need to go for it. And I really do like the attention they're giving mid lane. Not so much bot here though.
Yeah, Victory Slash is in some trouble here. Here comes the lightning. Attack Titan's gonna have to back off after that flash, but here comes 70s in from the river here. They are fighting Dragon right now, and I don't think ID knows that it's happening. So it looks okay. The question mark ping comes down. They at least have an idea that they might be there, but it's a little too late here as the gank was unsuccessful, and the G and E gets to pick up the Infernal Drake or the Mountain Drake.
Yeah, and that's the importance of mid priority, right? It just allows you to make plays like that. It allows 70s to roam, make the gank really just not a viable option, and it allows them to walk down, grab the Drake, and then they can go back to map state. And a team that's already up gold grabbing a scaling option is just going to make that mid game so much harder. And right now, I think we're about on track for a 25-minute soul if they keep collecting all the Drakes. I think that's about right. But I'm no mathematician. I really don't enjoy the subject either way. Platypus going for the Divine Sunder on the Vi here, and I think it's the same vein that I would want to see Attack Titan go for the Divine Sunder, right? You want more tank killing power. You want other ways to punch through the shields and the heals that's going to be coming through from Su as we see a gank here on the bot side.
Oh yeah, that's going to be the cease and desist right there. They're going forward, but they're going to have to flash away. They don't want to be underneath that turret. Real good job by Nicktoons there to try to get away as Doggeroo fighting Strike Ekka up in the top lane here. Might be able to turn it around if they play it smart. They're already dealing a decent chunk of damage. Attack Titan in from the side. Yeah, Doggeroo going to get that knock up right there. Also, Stryakas gets a short one for themselves. Can they get the consume? Doggeroo is able to get away. Has to flash as well, but Strike Ekka is looking for it. One more auto. Not going to be able to do it. The zombie berserker falls, and that's going to be a kill. Finally putting Doggeroo onto the scoreboard.
Absolutely. And you know, one thing I just want to highlight, even as that play started, Attack Titan had just gotten level 6, and now he's already level 7, right? So he was able to pick up a lot of value off of that play, and now they can just turn that quickly into a nice little Rift Trail. Platypus is on the top side of the map, so they're able to maybe contest it. They do have mid priority, but I don't know if they know what's happening. They do drop some pings down on it. He uses the smite early, but with the Chomp coming through to secure it, it's super hard to contest that play.
Yeah, I mean, it's really hard to contest anything when a Cho'Gath is there, right? They're similar to Nunu, where it's just like, hey, oh, hey, you also have a second smite now. Is Attack Titan trying to get away? Doesn't look like the red team really wants to collapse here. They're a bit of an awkward position. So it looks like they're just going to back away now. And Rift Herald is in the pockets of ID right now.
Absolutely. And, back to the vibe, back to Platypus Killer. Right now, his team is kind of lulling. We had that 1,000 gold lead. Now it's back down to around 300, 400 gold. And that cannot be acceptable to him. He needs to keep pushing this map state. That's what a Vi is super good for. Those early ganks, the early map pressure into the mid game, and she super falls off late game, right? So we need her to keep doing things, keep pushing the map state, keep pushing the tempo, and having your team just ahead in this game. So we need to see a gank mid, throw some tension at Levy, who, like I said, first person to get the mythic, farming super well, has a large amount of gold from those kills, and it's going to be super dangerous if you don't do something to put them behind, or go for, again, another gank on the bot side, flashless bot into a blitzcrank. That's looking pretty easy to me.
Yeah, I mean, this is, especially with an Aphelios, a very immobile, I mean, two very immobile champions down here, right? They don't even have movement speed increases to their names. Like, this is going to be a really, really easy lane to gank right now. We already see Platypus Killer, look where he is, just as you predicted, is already down here. That's actually going to be the Seraphine ultimate coming across here. Machina's in some trouble, but that's a great hook, but it landed onto the Volley Bear, though. Cease and Desist is going to land on the Nicktoons here, who's trying to get away, but can't quite do it. Attack Titan is now taken incredibly low. Victory Slash is going to dash through, get themselves a double kill. Now Suicidal, she's the only member left. Platypus Killer coming in close. They're looking for the last bit of damage. Suicidal trying to get away, but they cannot. Triple kill for the Samira in the bot lane. 6-1 and 2. Now the Devil May Cry character is popping off.
Dante is going absolutely nuts right now, but one thing I just want to highlight is where the exhaust from Suwu went. Instead of going onto the Smear, who is diving and dashing around your team, it went on to Platypus Killer on the Vi here, and we're going to see how this gank starts off. He does manage to land the hook onto Attack Titan. Not the correct target, but they landed the cease and assist. And look right there, the exhaust is on the Vi, not the character you want to be exhausted, right? You want the Samira to not do damage, to be slowed, and to be easier to kill, but just wrong just wrong target, not enough communication, and that's one thing you kind of want to see them evolve as the game goes on, as we see Attack Titan trying to get a little bit of damage down onto... Ooh, that's rough.
I mean, I don't hate the... Okay. Oh, we're so close. We're so close, ID. Here we go. Thunderstorm. Attack Titan takes him down. And now... All right, Vi's looking for the intercept here. Attack Titan does need to go through 2 towers in order to get through. Here comes Strike Eka in from the side here, looking for a little bit more. Thunderstorm comes down, doesn't quite land the slow. Platypus Killer picks up an easy kill for themselves, and now that's another kill on the table for G&E Aquamarine.
Very good stuff. They did lose their mid laner there because he just wasn't respecting the Vi flash, the Syndra flash, the Syndra damage, forcing, lost his own flash, and then it was just an easy gank for Attack Titan. But is it worth it when you're gonna lose this Hextech Drake? I don't think so, right? It's just not a good trade overall. It does feel nice to do because like how we dove him out as mid tier 1, but it wasn't clean. You do lose a lot, and your support getting hooked up.
Yeah, Machina's in some trouble here, already taken pretty low, and they're going to abandon the Drake here to look for a couple more kills. Aphelios already goes down. Levy is the next on the table here. Victory Slash is going to be performing their namesake here as they dash forward. That's a good hook onto the Volley Bear here, knocked into the air one more time. Smoke and Sexy Style, double kill for the Victory Slash here, 4 for nothing, and they're just going to go right on back to that Drake and go to secure it for pretty safely this time.
Yeah, one thing a lot of people don't really consider when they're looking at whether or not we should test a Drake, fight a Drake, or do anything in League of Legends, right? One thing they don't really consider is the resources that you have available to yourself, right? They either don't think about the gold we have in our pockets, the enemy power spikes, or more importantly to this case, how much mana does our mid laner actually have? Levy didn't have a lot of mana going into this fight. Look at how low that mana bar is, right? Even if they do find this kill on a Machina somehow, their mid laner just doesn't have anything to follow up. So once that, push away is used, one last Q and that's it. And maybe if they had a little bit more mana, that could have been a play they can go for, but Machina is super on point with these hooks, just finding the right target all the time. And they're just able to pick up a quick and easy double kill and pick up that Drake right afterwards.
Yeah, and I also need to point out that Nicktoons hasn't really been able to farm, so they haven't really been able to cycle through their weapons a whole lot. So even at that fight, they were starting off with green and purple, which is not really a good combination of guns here. As Victory Slash Looking to 1v2. It might be able to do it as well. Machina's coming in from the side as well, but finally slows down by the time he gets there. So not going to be able to find out Seraphine just quite yet, but they're definitely looking to be aggressive in the spot.
Absolutely. You know, speaking of farming, speaking of items, it's a pretty big gap in that bot lane, right? Almost a half item finished for Victory Slash on the Samira versus not even a single item finished for Nicktoons, as we see a gank coming through in the top side.
Yeah, Strike Echo here, stunned underneath the turret here. Doggeroo tanking it up. Attack Titan not using the ultimate quite yet. Okay, so it looks like they're just going to back away here. Oh, there's... Okay, wait, there's the Scion ultimate, though. Attack Titan might look to turn this around. There's the Thunderstorm and the stun right there. Great knockup. There's the ultimate as well, but there goes Platypus Killer going over the wall here. There's going to be the cease and desist. Doggeroo's taken down, and now they're on a rampage. Attack Titan is now the target here, looking to survive just a little bit longer. Gets a shield from the Thunderstorm, knocked into the air, but beaten down. Double kill now for the Vi here. Might turn it into a triple kill. Here comes Levy up from the side. There's the Q forward, looking for the damage. Levy flashes away, though. They're looking for the last bit of damage. Levy is so close, below half. 10%, nothing left. The ultimate is going to look for try to find something here, but not going to be able to find it this time. 3 for nothing up in the top lane.
Really interesting dive coming through. Attack Titan not starting that off with the ultimate. It feels super wrong, right? Like look at that. He has the ultimate available at this point, and they get Strideka's flash, which is nice at the end of the day, I guess, but look at this little return gank coming through from the Vi, right? He ult him with the Scion ultimate, then they think he's trolling, right? But then Platypus Killer shows up, dashes right through the Volibear, goes straight onto Doggeroo, forces out his flash, and even then still gets the kill picked up with the cease and desist. And look at the Syndra roaming up. You can kind of see her on the mini-map moving up towards the top side. But again, Levy is showing up to this fight with like below half mana and is just can only throw out a few spells at a time. Doesn't have a lot of cooldown reduction, just a little bit of damage. So it's just a really rough play to make for yourself and definitely doesn't help your team at all.
Yeah, it's looking really tough for sure. As we come back into the game here, Nicktoons is looking in some trouble, but Doggeroo is now in the bot lane here. Flamethrower and White Gun now gets that red-white don't fight. Can he find it, though? Ignite is ticking down. He's very low on HP here. Double teleports coming down for the red team here. Platypus Killer coming in for the side. Going to be able to pick up the kill onto the Moon Assassin right there. Strike Ekka is now coming in for the side. That's going to be the Unstoppables, keeping them down. Cease and desist onto the Popstar on the backside. That's going to be a double kill for the Vi now. Attack Titan coming through, looking to get a return kill here. Syndra's going to get the shutdown for themselves. 900 gold into their pocket. Can they find more? Attack Titan is looking for a little bit more. Does finally have that chem tank online. They're looking for it. Flash forward. They're looking for 70s, but they're getting hooked and pulled all around. Can't even get the kill onto the Blitzcrank. Finally gets it after the last moment there. Rupture going to pull Strike Echo up into the top side here. Knock them into the air, but not going to be able to find anything more. So this is going to be a 2 for 3, I believe, at the end of the day. A whole lot more into G&E Aquamarine's pockets here, but a 900 gold shutdown for Levy could bring a breath of fresh air into that mid laner.
Yeah, they shut down Victory Slash, although it did go kind of onto Suwu on the Seraphine, so not the greatest person to get that gold, but they did shut them down nonetheless. And like you said, Levy, 900 gold in their pockets, that's huge, right? We've already been counting on the Syndra kind of to win this game, right, for their team, because they had such a huge advantage in this mid lane. They haven't kind of been living up to that expectations, but now that they have this 900 gold, they have another chance to, right? They have another chance to show us that they are a contention for a really good mid laner. Has 24 seconds or 20 seconds left until his Drake spawns. This is the first Drake of a soul. They need to be here to go for it, and this is their mid laner getting picked off.
Yeah, Levy is in some trouble here. Going to use that Scatter the Weak and try to get away. Attack Titan, Nicktoons, and Suicidal are all here looking to try to get Platypus Killer. Is that the ultimate available, but it doesn't look like they want to go further anymore. Doggeroo's down here as well. You might be able to find Victory Slash, but Doggeroo's caught out here, throws the roar in the wrong angle. Smoking Sexy Style, that's going to be the ultimate coming across. There's a great hook onto Nicktoons right there. Now their AD carry is gone. They're chasing Samira so far, but they still can't find her. Levy is going to be able to find the shutdown on Divine. That's actually pretty good right there. Victory Slash now in some trouble. The Rupture doesn't go in quite the right spot. Just a little too much of an over prediction, and now Victory Slash comes out huge. Double kill, 10, 2, and 5. 19 and a half minutes in, they're going to grab themselves a turret, and they're going to pick up the first Soul Drake of the map. Infernal Drake #1 goes over to G&D.
Yeah, you said they were a little bit in trouble there. Are you sure it wasn't the two tanks that were in trouble into this, well, at the time, 8-2 Samira? absolutely running through them on this champion, has the collector picked up. So not the greatest at tank killing, but into these squishies, it's more than enough damage. And this play started off with the play in the bot side, but look at this Victory Slash just hopping directly onto the Cho'Gath. And like you said, very nice hook, picked up Nicktoons immediately. So now they're already on the back foot. They're getting corralled, forced back into their own side of the jungle. And while they do pick up Attack Platypus, Livy getting another kill and escaping with his lives, you're missing 3 members, right? Your team's just dropping rock flies all around you. You couldn't even really contest the Drake. You started up, took too much damage from it, and it just kind of became a lost play immediately after that. So one thing I want to see from Infernal Dives going forward, I want them to really start planning these plays, because right now they're just kind of hodgepodge all over the place. They were looking good at first, getting vision and doing it systematically in steps, but then they saw the AD carry and just kind of lost their minds, just kind of went after them immediately without any semblance of game plan. So going into this, like I said, they need to have a game plan. They need to have an identity. They need to do something using the Syndra, and they really need Levy to hit every single skill shot.
Ooh, hook over the wall from Machia here. Not going to be able to find what they're looking for, but yeah, it's really looking tough. It seems like Infernal Dive isn't making proactive plays. They're just kind of reacting to what Aquamarine is doing. And when you're down like this, it isn't the end of the world, but still, it's at some point we need to make decisions kind of based on our own stuff and what we are strong with, right? And we got a 4-2 and 3 Syndra. Let's play around her a little bit more and try to focus around this mid portion of the map, and maybe look for this mid lane turret.
Absolutely, it's something you have to do, right? Like, you just have to try and get back any objective no matter what. So this turret's a good first starter step, right? This mid lane turret allows you to rotate up to bot or top, and then you can click that turret as well, or maybe even threaten a Baron. But very nice stun lands into Machina here, but look at that, Platypus kind of off on the side looking for the flank, got an angle. And Nicktoons, that's the target they're going for, but at this point, I don't think he's that viable of a target, right? He doesn't do any damage. It's going to be all on Levy to deal damage. So once that Syndra's out of the fight, it just kind of falls apart for the side of Infernal Dive.
Yeah, and I'm really looking for Nicktoons right now, because the purple and blue is the worst gun combination for Aphelios in a lot of situations. And so if a fight breaks out right now, he's got the AoE gun, which can throw out a bunch of snares, but like, that's not exactly what you're looking for, right? You want to make sure that you have that red and white. But when you have such low attack speed, especially at this stage of the game, like, you're just looking at not being able to cycle through your weapons as much as you'd like. Now, I like this play right here, where he's kind of just going up into the top lane here, and just trying to get as much gold into his pocket as possible, try to climb his way back into this game, and hopefully pick up a second item, but it's still just looking real tough. Yeah.
Yeah, even as he tries to do that, they're just going to immediately go to that side of the map and start to threaten him, force him away from it, because they have complete control on the top side. They don't care about the bot side with a Scion. They are completely 100% focused on the side with an Aphelios, or sorry, the Baron.
Yeah, oh, jeez. I mean, ooh, great charm here. Let's see if they'll be able to follow through. That's already a lot of damage on the Platypus killer. Machia as well, trying to cut off the escape. Attack Titan already finds one, uses the Blast Cone to try to get to the other side here, but Victory Slash is just too strong. Levy is taken down. Striker is coming through as well. And man, double kill for the Scion and double kill for Victory Slash as well, I believe. Oh no, it was one for Victory Slash and one for Platypus Killer, but that is a 1 for 4 in favor of G&E here. And man, these team fights just keep getting better and better for G&E Aquamarine here.
They really do, and it's just so easy. All they had to do was trade their jungler for everybody else. Realistically, that's absolutely great, and it goes to the idea of they just didn't have that side of the map under their control from the side of Infernal Dive. You cannot have Aphelios walking into their jungle. That's not your jungle anymore. So it's a very easy kill. This charm is really good because Platypus Killer flashes into it, but still at the end of the day, even though he's getting exhausted, that exhaust, all that damage is being wasted onto a jungler and not the Samir. And then this is the overplay by Attack Titan just going a little bit too deep. Strideka with a great teleport, great ultimate, picks up those 2 kills, makes it look so easy. And just from there, they just lost the Baron. And honestly, I think you're just looking at the next game. Okay, what is our game plan here? How do we bring it back into the series? Because right now it's looking so incredibly difficult into this scaled up Scion, into this scaled up Samira with 3 items.
Yeah, and once again, Nicktoons Building the Kraken Slayer here means that they'll be able to cut through some of these HP bars, but once again, doesn't have those kind of defenses that a Immortal Shield Bow typically give Aphelios is here. So, man, as they fight back and forth here, they're still jockeying for some sort of position of trying to single out maybe their 80 carries, but there's some pretty good positioning by the tanks here. Leaving just having a hard time. Attack Titan is pulled in. Now they're trying to steal the Drake, not going to be able to grab it. So now the fight is going to start. It's a 4v5. Attack Titan's already down. Cease and desist onto the backside here. Going to follow through with Strike Echo. That's a second. That's a third. Can they find more? Cho'Gath and Aphelios are the only members left. Aphelios lost the white gun, and holy moly, you can't fight right now. 3-0, and the Infernal Drake as well. G&E Aquamarine popping off, totally eclipsing the amount of kills from the other sides. We're going to get a replay here.
Absolutely, and we can kind of see how this fight's starting off. One thing I want to highlight is how good Levi and Seraphine are doing in this poke war, right? They're able to throw out abilities, they're able to land on crucial targets, and looks how low 70s gets in this fight because he starts up the Drake, and the Drake is just beating away at him, and the look is so dangerously low on this Victor. But the thing is that they just aren't able to win the Smite fight. They just aren't really there to help out Attack Titan when he gets caught. So then the rest of the team's trying to kind of get back into the fight, and they just kind of allow Shredeka to get into the fight, get into the backline along with Platypus Killer, and that's all she wrote from the end of the day. So really good idea coming out from the side of Infernal Dive to just poke away at him, but just not as well executed as you would hope.
Yeah, I mean, this game is starting to look a little shut and closed here. As much as I don't like to say usually things like that, but you know, I feel like at this stage you start trying to think about game number 2, right? Because you're down 18 kills, you're down 14,000 gold, you're down Infernal Soul as well. Like, Infernal Soul is so good when you're already ahead. Look at this, Supportal Combat. Suicidal is almost taken down there. Makia is taken incredibly low, about half HP. This is the re-engage here. That's going to be the cease and desist. Going to take down the pop star. Levy looking for a little bit more, but the mage is with infinite potential is not even going to be able to take down 70s. As now the rest of GEA now get to collapse down this mid lane here with a numbers advantage 4-3.
Yeah, it's looking like all she wrote. You know, Levy again doing so much damage, but just not quite enough to take out 70s there at the end of the day. They don't have the Baron up ultimate or Baron up buff anymore, but this is going to be the Scion walking in.
Yeah, that's going to be a good hook, but it's on Doggeroo. 70s is taken pretty low here, going to go golden so it doesn't get chomped. And now they're looking for the rest here. That's going to be Smoke and Sexy Style. There's the big ultimate coming through from Victory Slash here. Going to be able to pick up a triple kill for themselves. And that's going to be the Nexus going down as well. Nicktoons gets hooked in, but it's a little too late. You've lost control of the characters. And that's going to be game number 1 being won by G&E Aquamarine.
Honestly, it's one of those things where they won it off of that invade level 1, right? It was just so dominant from that point on. There were a few times where they could have come back from the side of Infernal Tides. They had options, they had opportunities. Levy was up in the mid lane, like I said. Levy was so far ahead of 70s for most of the game. They really did have a real opportunity to go back to, but they didn't recognize that win condition. They didn't play around the win condition enough. So it kind of becomes more of a, we didn't play around it, they played around theirs. And that's just it at the end of the game, right? So good job to G&E. They made it look easy.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it definitely snowballed out of control, especially with that bot lane as well. Samira popping off really, really well. However, that's going to be us for game number 1 here. We're going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be in picks and bans of game number 2 of Infernal Dive versus G&D Aquamarine. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by Arlen. And here we are in game number 2 of Infernal Dive versus G&E Aquamarine. Now, G&E Aquamarine was able to pull forward in game number 1 with a pretty exciting early game that gave them a pretty snowbally lead with that very powerful Samira, leading into those late and or mid-game scenarios where Infernal Dive was just really having a hard time even keeping pace with how powerful G&E Aquamarine had become. So now, here we are, picks and bans, game number 2, about to get underway.
Absolutely. Game number 2. Hopefully it's as spicy as the first one. I really do like these kind of scrappy back and forths, and I think they're really entertaining. But it kind of relies on the draft, right? We need to see something better come out from the side of Infernal Dive. I think they had a solid draft. I think it was really on point, really consistent, but the thing is that it kind of was lacking in that damage aspect, right? It just had a singular, 2 carries, right? It had the Syndra, it had the Phelios, didn't have anybody else realistically. It was kind of protect those 2 and we just win fights to those 2. But what happens if one of those get behind? Now we only have one person to protect and they have a Blitzcrank, so yeah, it's just a hard thing to play out. So maybe a little bit more damage, maybe a Bruiser in the top side would look really good for Infernal Dive. A Graves as well, if that doesn't get banned out, they have options.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is definitely going to look... I mean, G&E was, in the last game, was mostly an embarrassment of riches with them being able to gain their comfort picks in multiple roles, right? The Vi, the Scion, the Blitzcrank. Across the map here was pretty insane what G&E was able to get here. Now, granted, Infernal Dive didn't have all of their bans available to them because they were using an E-sub, but now we'll have to see if they are ready to get it underway here, as we are just continuing to wait for this for the start off. As there we go, Vladimir taken off the table here.
Instantaneously taking away the Vladimir. I think Vladimir currently in the meta, not the most picked champion, but very sleeper OP in my humble opinion. He is so very good at just dealing and neutralizing with the Vigar, with the Ra, 2 of the high tier champions right now. He can also deal with the Victor, right? He just kind of sits back and chills. You can't really do anything to take him off the table or deal with him in any really deal with him in any way. The only place where it feels kind of rough if you blind pick him top and then he gets picked into that Aatrox, that's where it really hurts to play Vladimir. But otherwise, strong champion, very consistent, really hard to deal with in the current meta. And on the other side, Genie taking away the Lux, taking away the Xayah, a super strong AD carry that has this kind of risen in that prevalence. And it's going to be potentially first pick Jinx for Infernal Dive.
Yeah, I find it kind of interesting that they're locking in the Jinx here. Sure, it goes unbanned that we saw previously. They're swapping out the Jinx for the ban for the Xayah ban here. Jinx also a pretty powerful AD carry in her own right. I mean, she did receive some kind of like micro changes here and there, and like I think a sub patch of 12.4, 12.5 or something. But like, the other champion, the other person, the G&E's support, Makia is good at Blitzcrank, which is really good into the Jinx pick, right? Like, Jinx can't do anything after she's been hooked. That, like, we already say that Jinx, once you've gotten kind of on top of her, it's very hard for her to react, right? She kind of has the chompers, but that's in order to keep you a distance away. But if you grab her and pull her to you, then she's really in trouble. And, with this Vilock in here, it also exemplifies that fact as well. It almost seemed like G&E was like, yeah, sure, you can have the Jinx.
Yeah, it really does feel like they gave away the Jinx absolutely for free. Now, they really have to just protect her, right? They have to go for maybe a Lulu just to kind of peel off any damage that comes their way. A Nami, Enchanters, anything. But like you said, the Groomstone, or Moonstone rather, was nerfed. And it's hard to really justify picking these Enchanters anymore unless they're going for the Shirley's Grubs or can use, not the Shirley's Grudge, the Shirley's other item that she has. But either way, Lucian getting locked into the Jinx. If they do pick the Blitzcrank, that's a lot of damage, early game power spiking in the bot side from G&E, and that's what it's going to be. So with the Vi as well, something that likes to farm into the Nocturne. Like, they're both fine farming into each other, right? They're both so okay with it, but Vi has the early game potential that Nocturne doesn't. He needs to wait for 6 before he really can start get ganks off, and then that's at like every minute and a half interval.
Yeah, I mean, this is This is, I mean, the second I saw the Lucian lock in as well, I was like, okay, they're locking in Blitzcrank 100%, right? And which makes me question this Vladimir ban here once again. You know, there's so many comfort picks that G&E can lock in here that if you're looking to lock in Jinx, like Jinx is a high priority for you. You should probably ban away, right? Like Scion is going to be annoying for a Jinx to deal with, right? Because Jinx wants to build Gale Force, Jinx wants to go into Infinity Edge. You know, Blade of the Rune King, Kraken Slayer, just like Aphelios, isn't exactly in the docket, right? So, yeah, but so like, I just think the Blitzcrank and the Vi are probably worse characters for you to deal with than the Victor and the Scion were if you're trying to put high priority on the Jinx.
Absolutely, and I think I really do like the bans in the second half coming up from Infernal Dive. I like the fact that they took away the Ornn, because I think Ornn is just, like we said, turbo broken right now in pretty much all stages of the game. So yeah, good on them to ban away the Ornn, but they just forgot the last super mega tank to deal with, right? There are 4 of them, and if you're not devoting 4 bans to them, one of them is going to slip through, and it's going to be Cho'Gath. I think he's the easiest all of them to deal with. You can kind of kite him out a lot easier than Malphite and Ornn or a Scion, but if you're not ready to deal with him, but they are. Wow, the Darius getting locked in for Infernal Dive. He did get some buffs, but I don't know if they were that impactful.
Yeah, he did get more true damage on his ultimate. The problem is, the best way to deal with true damage is to build HP, and Cho'Gath pretty much stacks that passively. And some cases, Cho'Gath players will even take Overgrowth as well in order to add to that kind of HP stacking that they've been doing a whole lot of. And this is a really good team to do that into, right? They don't have a whole lot of tank busting on the enemy team. They have a lot of some good CC, right? They have some decent damage, but like Darius isn't going to cut through a tank as easily as, especially one that's stacking HP, as well as some other characters might be able to. Like Camille comes to mind as a character that's very, very strong, that has a lot of burst damage, builds into that Divine Sunderer, and has some good tank busting abilities. I would be able to match up well against the Cho'Gath here and also provide a little bit more for their team. But, you know, once again, like we're in gold. So like sometimes folks will be like, I mean, yeah, I understand where you're coming from here, but I just don't have practice on that champion, right? And so if we take a look at Infernal Dive really quick, Doggeroo, yeah, Doggeroo not really having a whole lot of practice on that Camille there. So probably not the greatest lock-in for Doggeroo in the top lane.
Yeah, I do like the fact that they did pick a bruiser up the top side. I think that's necessary for the team coming from Infernal Dive. However, like you said, I really wish this was a Camille or even a Fiora, right? You know, something that can actually deal with the Cho'Gath, something that's actually a threat in the side lane, because right now, looking at this composition, everybody just kind of kites out the Darius. It's super hard for him to function at the later the game goes, right? The only person who kind of gives him a little bit of a boost is the Blitzcrank, right? Because it allows, you know, the Blitzcrank is quite literally pulling him into his team. So if he gets super fed somehow and the Blitzcrank messes up a hook and hits him and brings him into the team, it's great, right? But otherwise, everybody just kind of keeps him at distance or CCs him by knocking him up into the air, stunning him, or slowing him, right? So it's really hard for Doggeroo to find advantages outside of the early game in that laning phase. So he really needs to be on point with his laning. He really needs to be on point with freezing the wave, forcing the Cho'Gath to walk up to CS minions, or he's just going to be out of the game. He's just going to be another cannon minion.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, we really need to keep our eyes on a lot of these folks here, because once again, this is do or die time, and even more so for Infernal Dive than it was G&E Aquamarine a second ago, right? G&E Aquamarine now has some breathing room. You know, we talk about, obviously, like in this best of 3 kind of series, once you're in game 2, you know, if you're already up a game, you know, you could throw this match and still have an opportunity to come out on top. So now we have to take a look. We really need to watch Infernal Dive this game, because it's do or die time. Double elimination. They're in game 2, down a game in a best of 3. They're gonna be probably playing really, really safe this game.
Absolutely. And I don't know if playing safe is the best thing. When you have a Nocturne, when you have an Annie, when you have a Darius, I think you kind of just want to, you know, say, whatever, let's flip this game. Let's beat them up before they scale and outscale us. Because right now, Annie is getting outranged by the Orianna. Nocturne can dive like a Vi. They both can dive, but Vi just has more ways to survive that dive, right? She builds more HP. She has the shield innately in her passive. and with her ultimate, she can knock away multiple members. Attack Titan on the Nocturne can't knock away multiple members. He just near sights everybody, dives in, has a spell shield to block one spell, and either kills the target or dies doing it. So across the board, the only place where they don't get outscaled is in the bot side, right? The only place where they have really good scaling is that Jinx. But even then, if she's not able to get those first resets, I kind of still pick the Lucian over her, right? Because his burst damage in that late game becomes so high into this relatively squishy team coming out from the side of Infernal Dive.
Yeah, I mean, this is really I want to toss it over to Genie Aquamarine again.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm passing my advantage over to right now. They have so for one thing, there's 4 squishy members of Infernal Dive. Only really one of them can deal with the Blitzcrank hook, right? That's number 1. Number 2, we have 2 comfort pick champions from Genie Aquamarine again. And now we have Orianna, who, in my opinion, is the best character in League of Legends, hands down. No one is better than Orianna. She's always good, and she has one of the best ultimates in the game that fits into basically any team composition.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a discussion for another time. Orianna fits into this slots into this team comp very, very well by having multiple ball delivery services, and then you have Victory Slash on another close range, kind of bursty AD carry one more time that performs really, really well with Blitzcrank.
Absolutely, and that's hugely important. You know, speaking about the part where you talked about the ball delivery system, this is honestly probably one of Orianna's best matchups, right? You know, pairings to say. Onto Platypus Killer on the Vi, they're just going to be going in on repeat, and either one target or multiple people are going to get bursted out because the Vi pushes them away, the Orianna brings them back in together, and that's a knockup waiting to happen for Strideca. That's a hook waiting to land for the Blitzcrank. That's a calling waiting to just cut down every single member of the enemy team for Victory Slash. So really, like you said, they have to kind of tech around this in some way from Infernal Dive, because right now, like you said, the draft has just gone completely over to the side of Genie.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, we are going to take just a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to be on the rift of game number 2 of Infernal Dive versus Genie Aquamarine. It's do or die time for both of these teams. Let's see what happens as we get onto the rift. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Zero Gravity Gaming. My name is Shinkari, and I'm joined by Arlen, and here we are. Game number 2. Do or die time for Infernal Dive, and G and E Aquamarine is ready to finally prove themselves in their first game of the ZGG Gold playoffs. Here we are. We got a 5-point start. We're ready to go. Arlen, are you ready?
I am ready, Shinkari. Interesting enough that Machina and squad they chose not to go for the invade again, but I kind of respect that, right? The Blitzcrank, if you already did it once, there's no way they're gonna fall for it again, right? It just doesn't happen a second time. Lightning doesn't strike the same place twice. But one thing that did happen for them just now, which was super important, is the Lucian getting that 10 gold, getting that extra creep sword, and more importantly, getting that extra XP because it will allow them just that little bit more of an XP advantage going into this laning phase. That's something that can definitely boost them up just that little bit extra. But it will be the late invade coming in when no one there. I don't think you're gonna find anything too valuable, except some vision.
Yeah, it's a good ward placement for sure. You're going to get some vision onto the Nocturne here, and especially against the Nocturne, it's important to note whenever you can get as much vision as you can against him. So definitely some good place to start in terms of vision. Hopefully that means some good things for GE Aquamarine as this game progresses. But here we are, level 1s. We're in the lanes. We're ready to get going. Game number 2 is underway.
Yeah, everything's pretty much just standard League of Legends. Both sides just looking to collect their gold, collect those waves, and already Dogger are going to be starting to heavily trade up on the top side. That's why I like a bruiser top into tanks. It just makes it so hard for them to play the game because they just don't have, unless it's Ornn, they just don't have the early damage to really fight back. So Darius is doing what he does best, becoming that lane bully, just beating out Shrideka here and forcing him to play a little bit back, a little bit more cautiously than he normally would.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is exactly where Doggeroo needs to be pressuring Strikeika as much as possible, right? Because once again, there's going to be a point where Cho'Gath has just been stacking too much health that the true damage that Darius is doing is going to be basically nothing. And, it's just going to fall off really, really hard. And Doggeroo's not going to be able to get, like, executes or even chip damage. This is going to be, like, very hard to execute.
Absolutely. He did get a nice buff. I think it's like 100 extra of whatever it used to be in terms of the true damage. So it is nice, right? The base damage. But like you said, with the stacking the HP, it's going to be hard for Dogger to eventually do anything. So he has to find the advantage in terms of the laning phase. He has to do something early. He has to collect whatever he can. And I like this play from him. Warding that tri-bush and then walking down to secure the scuttle for his team, for himself, more importantly. Even though it's not a lot of gold or experience, it's still better than nothing, right? It's going to be the lane gank. They're just going to be walking through Platypus Killer, looking to secure that scuttle for him. And I don't think we should see a fight coming through from Nocturne.
Yeah, I don't think we'll see one just yet. Nocturne is one of those champions that does need a few items under their belt before they can really, really start fighting. But it looks like he's just going to be hooked out here. That's going to be the burst damage coming down for Victory Slash.
Nice
Flash by Platypus Killer as well. Gonna land the knock-up. Ignitus ticking as well, but they don't really have anywhere else to go here. Victory Slash dashes onto the other side of the chompers, but it's a wash down in the bottom lane. Top lane, Doggeroo, we fighting up here. Yeah, he's taken pretty low. Doesn't have a whole lot of mana. Strikeika is trying to find him off the minions, but it looks like it's just going to come out once again. A wash across the map here.
Yep, that's one thing you really have to manage with Darius in the early game before he gets levels under his belt and his cooldowns or his abilities are relatively low in terms of mana cost. Is that early game management is super important. He can run through his mana pool like we just saw so very quickly, and it's so hard for him to get it back. Whereas we have infinite stain on the Cho'Gath if he's able to last hit consistently. So just got to be very careful of that. He also went corrupting pot, so that's even more sustain coming through for him, and another missed hook on the bot side. So 10 CS in the bot side. We're actually down CS in this mid lane. Annie out CSing the Orianna. You'd love to see it, and that's another place where they could potentially go for that easy gank once Attack Titan Attack Titan hits that level 6 power spike. Going for a Kindle Gem Rush. I think he's gonna going for a Stride Breaker.
Yeah, I mean that's probably makes the most amount of sense. Gives you that little bit of extra dash, gets you onto your opposing member here. Might even be a Might even be a Divine Sunder, or who knows. That spin
Oh,
does come
yeah.
out of cooldown like pretty quickly as well. But yeah, it seems up in the air to see what Attack Titan is going to be building here on this Nocturne. We'll have to wait and see. I do like that once again we do have that farm advantage on Annie. Annie does have the advantage of having one of the longest auto attack ranges in the whole game here. And
Dogger's taking so much damage, but he's gonna ghost.
yeah, that's gonna pop the ghost here. Gonna pop. Strike Echo is taking incredibly low here. Gonna use that movement speed to get away. They're gonna give this kill over to Attack Titan here. Strike Echo taking it pretty low here, but First Blood goes over to the Nocturne. Scary it. The mid lane here. Yep, gonna continue throwing those spells around, throwing those auto attacks around, and not gonna waste that stun just yet. Cloud Drake is picked up by the red team here. As now this game continues, but still pretty even.
Yeah, I like that a lot. All you have to trade is what? Darius's flash and ghost? No, he didn't use flash, just the ghost. But you trade his ghost for Drake and your teleport. And maybe 400 gold into the pocket of a Nocturne. That's honestly not even that bad, right? I don't consider that too horrible because again, it's just a tank. It doesn't matter if he gets behind as long as he's just consistently CSing well. So yeah, just trading his life for that pressure in the mid lane, for that Drake secure. And now they have so much flank potential. Look at this in the mid lane. This could be a rough play coming out from Scariot.
Yeah, Scary in here doesn't have the stun charged quite yet, but that flash, yeah, once again, really, really good. So gonna keep them alive for just a little bit longer, but no flash for a long time in that mid lane there. So we're probably gonna see Vi revisit over there as Aki has to look for a little more. Suicidal and Radiant Cord here going up through the Tri-Brush. Yeah, not gonna be able to land that hook this time.
And one thing I really do like is how much the Vi is sort of living in this Nocturne side of the map. I think if they enforce this a little bit more, they could really set up a very nice vertical jungle, secure themselves those first early Drakes, put Shrieka on this topside island, and give up their own topside. You know, it does suck that you will be losing a quadrant, but at the end of the day, if you're able to gain more of an advantage down here on the bot side, if you're able to gain a huge advantage in terms of this Drake count, I think that's more than worth it going into this later stages of the game.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, once again, it's going to be really tough for Cho'Gath to really keep up against the Darius. I mean, he's already doing a pretty good job as it stands. So maybe he just continues doing what he's doing. Makia here, still looking for it. Radiant Cord going to get knocked up into the air. But Victory Slash is nowhere to be found here, so it's a 1v1 across both 80 carries versus both supports. What? But Suicidal is going to come through and pick up the kill there. Victory Slash trying to dive back into the Radiant Cord. Pops the barrier. Victory Slash, not this time. Holy moly. Barrier coming out huge. The shields from Suicidal keeping Radiant Cord alive for just another second. Wow, here comes the Paranoia up into the top lane. Flash forward, looking for the pull. Not going to be able to get it. Flash for Flash up in the top lane. It's a wash, but holy moly. Suicidal, the hero that they need and deserve down in that bot lane.
Absolutely. That play was really smart from Makia. It was really smart from Victory Slash, but the issue is that they just missed the hook and kept forcing it. And that was a really good job from a Radiant Cord and Subu to kite back, right? To kite away from that, to pull them in and force them to go ever deeper. And they knew that they didn't have the heal. If they could ignite one person, that damage was going to stick. That damage was going to stay. And they went for Maka first, turned it on to Victory Slash. He didn't drop the exhaust, kind of kept holding on to that. And Radiant Cord was able to pump out the damage, trusted in Su there, and got them a nice, easy double kill bot. So that's going to be huge. A really nice play topside as well to force out the flash from Shrieka, using the ultimate off of cooldown. That's what you want to see a Nocturne do. But it's going to be a play in the mid lane.
Yeah, Scariot here, taking incredibly low.
Flash.
Great flash by Platypus Killer there. And they're going to be able to pick up a kill for themselves in the mid lane as well. So this is a real good pickup here because they got the flash and they got the ultimate out of Annie.
Absolutely. And the exhaust, you know, talking about what else other resources they got. Even if they trade their flash for the exhaust, that's still a worthy play at the end of the day. With that flash, it dodged the damage, it dodged the stun, and it made that kill so much easier to get. And like I said, even though you're exhausting the Vi, it's not Vi who's going to be killing you. It's going to be 70s. We see another play on the bot side, but I think they just want to walk this one off.
Oh no, Radiant Cord might look for a little bit more. Zap, unfortunately, does not land. So it looks like they're just going to back away here for now.
Almost has ultimate. It's going to be so close on the spot side, especially with the Drake spawning in about 40 seconds or so, give or take. I think Platypus Killer just has to read this play and is, yeah, doing that exactly perfectly. They're just going to be walking down this lane, just look to hover them, maybe bait it out. I don't know what each team is thinking of. This could be impactful.
We do have Paranoia available for Attack Titan here, but Machia and Victory Slash are playing really, really close to their turret right now. If Nocturne goes for a dive, okay, that's the intro here. Suicidal goes down, so this might be the go button for to dive on a Radiant Cord here. Attack Titan is caught out, or spotted out. So it looks like the red team is just going to move towards this Drake here. Going to shove out this wave, then go right to Dragon. I think this is a really good idea to do so right now. They have the bot prio. They have some mid prio as well. Oh, Paranoia through the wall here. Oh, Super Mega Death Target comes across. Going to be able to find one kill. Can they find more? Lucia's taking incredibly low, but double kill for Radiant Core. Now they've gotten excited. Platypus Killer is looking really low. Choppers over the wall. They're not going to get that snare. Attack Titan still looking for a little bit more here. Not going to be able to find it, but that's going to be two. That's a pretty quick 2-for-0 right there. Yeah. And a 2-for-1 in this kind of extended matchup here. Now they're able to put themselves on the board with this Infernal Drake. And this does mean that's a really, really good turnaround for Infernal Dive here, who's now about 1.7k gold in the lead.
Yeah, that's really, really good for him, especially since all the kills that just happened went on to Radiant Cord on the Jinx. And I was wondering what their game plan was when they kind of just left Suicidal out to die to the Wolves. Like, that's pretty much just what kind of happened. I was like, why aren't we throwing out the Paranoia yet? What's going on here? But as I'm talking about, there's going to be a play up onto Doggeroo overstepped.
Yeah, Doggeroo is going to pop that ghost. 4v1 now. There's the cease and desist. There's the attack shockwave as well. Oh. They might actually be able to get out of there. They're alive. Machia is now the target here. Attack Titan is taking incredibly low too. Doggeroo's been able to heal up a decent chunk, but now they're starting to fall one at a time. There's the Noxian Guillotine going to come across. The shield might be able to keep Machia alive for just a little bit longer. No. Not this time. Doggeroo finds a kill. Super Mega Death Target. There it goes. Well, that's a 2-for-2 at the end of the day. That's a 2-for-1.
That was really good for them. They kited it back so well. And one thing I just want to highlight is 70's ultimate wasn't exactly the best. It allowed Doggeroo to live for that much longer because it pushed him to the opposite side of the ball, closer to his team, right? Away from your team. And with him already charging up the Q, it allowed him to get even more healing out. But we do see the 2-for-2 or the 2-for-0 play in the bot side that allowed them to pick up the Drake. They just found the Blitzcrank, caught him out because he was just a little bit too late on the rotate, picked up the Lucian, made it look easy. But then, you know, the reset came through on the top side, and it ended up for a 2-for-2. I think a 2-for-2 that more benefits the side of Genie because all the kills went on to 70, right? He is so incredibly strong on this Orianna as the Gale Force in from Radiant Cord. Aggressive play.
Yeah, I mean, you definitely got to look for these now, right? Radiant Cord is just so powerful, and Suicidal is there with him right there. So this is a really powerful twosome that like Victory Slash needs to respect. So if Victory Slash is just going to be walking forward and thinking that they have a dash, they'll be fine. You know, the Radiant Cord is just like, hey, cool, I got one too. Isn't that nice? Why don't we both use our Gale Forces together? Oh, you don't have one. Oh.
Yeah, a little bit rough for you, buddy, but it will be the contest of the Rift on the top side. Bye. I don't think you guys need to go for it. I think you can kind of swayed it, but it will be picked up. Oh, Vi stole it?
No way.
That's been sitting on the bot side anyway.
I mean, never mind. Victory Slash comes through here. Doggeroo. I think it might have been someone else. I'm not quite sure, but Blitzcrank is going to be able to get the kill on the Nocturne here. Scary is looking to be in some trouble here. Platypus Kill is actually taken pretty low here. Not going to be able to grab that kill. The Triumph kill damage is going to be able to kill them just a little bit long. Here comes Strike-a-Cut here. Good hook onto Doggeroo. This might be what they're looking for. Oh, nom 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 nom. Strike-a-Cut picks up a kill in the top lane across the map. It's a 3-for-1, and G, E, and A are able to pick up the Infernal, the Rift Herald here. But this is looking really good for the top half of the map for G, E, and A. G and E, A. But if you're Infernal Dive, you're really being able to praise this bottom half of the map.
Absolutely, they're doing so incredibly well in the bottom half of the map, but we can look a little bit back about the steal. Oh, he smited too early, and Vitus came in and took it. That's a rough one. Your team's going to definitely be flaming you in the chat for that one, but a nice hook onto it. Doesn't even give him a chance to drop the ultimate to try and, you know, get the near side. And I like the fact that Platypus Killer just kind of ignored it. He knew his team had the damage. He can go directly on to Scariot. It got a little bit dangerous with the exhaust coming out, but at the end of the day, exactly what we still kind of predicted. 70s is the one who's always going to be landing those kills, regardless. And we get back into the main game, and it's going to be a shutdown on to the mid laner. 70s attack titan picking up that nice little rebound of gold, making up for the fact that he did lose the Rift Herald.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, now we're looking. I mean, that's a really good pickup for G&E here. I mean, this is really looking good for them. Being able to put themselves back on the kind of map here is as that kind of gold kind of catapulted themselves pretty close to ID here, who has had some decent chunk of gold in their pockets already. So now the difference between these two teams is only 1k gold at about 15 minutes in, which when the mid game is starting to happen for some of these teams. Like, this is definitely looking to be pretty good as we take a look at the gold here. Radiant Cord and Attack Titan here sitting at the most with 6.3k, tied with 70s, who is also up there as well. Like, this is definitely looking to be a pretty good game, but I still think it's anyone's game at this point, even though ID has a lead.
It's really close. Like, even though Victory Slash is down in terms of active items and active gold on the map and active usage, he's actually even, if not ahead of Radiant Cord, right? Because they both, Radiant Cord has gone for the more expensive item as Sue. Very nice dodge there to keep themselves from getting hooked, but they have more members in the spot side. I don't know if we really want to take a fight without your Orianna being there. 10 seconds left on this Drake, and not a whole lot of vision is set up for the side of G&E.
Yeah, and this is a pretty, ooh, good hook. It's on a Doggeroo here. He's going to take a little bit of damage and then just kind of walk away there. Doesn't really want to be quite involved anymore, but all 10 players are here on this bottom half of the map here. This fight is going to start, if not now, very soon. Good hook by Doggeroo here, looking for a little bit more. Paranoia is going to dive on top of the backside here. Lucian's going to dash away. And already Jinx is taken out of this fight. Doggeroo's going to be able to find one with the Noxian Guillotine. He's going to have to look for more. Not going to be able to find the kill with Strike Gus, so not going to get those resets. So double kill for Doggeroo here, but finally goes down. It's a double kill for Orianna here. 70, she's looking for a little bit more, but Suicidal is going to be able to find that little slow there. Scary, it might have stayed here just a little too long. They're still looking for it. They're still within range of the ball here. They're trying to get away as best they can, hugging the turret. I think they're just peeling back here. They might be able to grab the Drake now, but this is definitely a fight in GE&A's favor.
Absolutely. They both traded, top laners and junglers for this play, but one thing I just want to highlight is that they also lost Radiant Cord. A huge shutdown goes down onto the Cho'Gath, and their dive was just a lot more coordinated, right? Their dive had 2 people going for it, whereas the Nocturne was just solo diving onto Victory Flash, or Victory Slash, and he was just able to flash away from it and, turned around onto Attack Titan. But I think they just get it here. Yep.
Yeah, Orianna is able to finish it off here. So they got the Earth Drake here, but this might be the second fight happening right here. Suicidal is still really low here. Good silence onto the Nocturne here, and Chomp. Strikeka is going to be able to pick up a kill for themselves. It's a 1-for-1. They got the Drake, but now they're just trying to peel away from the rest of the members of Infernal dive here. Shirelia's battle song does get popped, so now the blue team gets to return to their lanes just a little bit quicker. These resets have already happened for them, but this is a great day for a good fight for GE and GEA here.
Yeah, it's a rough name, but we're going to hop into the replay at the start of the fight. One thing I just want to highlight is the positioning of Strika here. He's not even in front of his team. The guy kicks off like this. He dives directly into the backside, and a really nice dash away from the Lucian just allowed them to turn onto Attack Titan. Whereas the Orianna combo plus the Vi, they get directly into the back line as well, and they just get that ball cease and desist combo off, and it's just so incredibly hard to fight out the rest of the fight. The play keeps going a little bit later, but it's not really impactful because it happens after the Drake is taken, but very good nonetheless. And I like the Annie. I like Scary at building the Leandries here, right? Because a lot of enemy members are going to be... Ooh,
Paranoia is being popped here. I think they're looking for the Cho'Gath up on the top lane, maybe. Haven't actually...
That so well.
Okay, haven't dove in, but... This is going to be Doggeroo looking for a little bit more. Already taken a whole bunch of damage. Hasn't been able to do a bunch of damage to Strikeka here. Yeah, I think it's just perfectly fine. Strikeka is like, I mean, all right. I mean, yeah, you technically did damage to me, but sure.
Cool, you
Chase
can
your bliss, I guess.
I don't know. That was really rough. They used 2 ultimates on 2 different parts of the map just to try to get picks, and both of them just didn't work out. So now they're down those 2 ultimates, right? And one of them's a hugely important ultimate. That is the whole reason we picked Nocturne for the near side. If we just don't have it, Buddy's kind of just a useless champion. He doesn't do a whole lot of anything too well without that ultimate. So now we're just kind of waiting downtime. I think this is good for more for the team of GE and A, right? They really like this downtime. It really allows them to set up vision, look for the picks with Blitzcrank, and on the opposite side, Infernal Dive, the only person who really loves this downtime is the Jinx, because it allows them the value, it allows them to get gold in their pockets. Speaking of gold in their pockets, they are now at that 2-item power spike, and it's going to be that Lauren Dominic's regard. So much damage coming down to Strayeka. Everybody else, they're still going to be taking damage as long as they have more HP than the Jinx, which shouldn't be too hard.
Now they're diving.
Oh, the flash!
Whoa, what a crazy flash on a Jinx here. 70s. She's going to be able to pick herself up a kill. There, it's a quick and easy 1-for-0. What a play that was! Holy moly! I didn't even know if I could flash like that and still complete the Q there. So that was really good by GNEA here. Now. They have a little bit of an advantage coming into this mid lane. They had to have a couple resets, so they might be able to just blow on this turret here that doesn't have a whole lot of HP left and just topple it over, put some gold into their pockets, and maybe put the gold in their favor. There it is, 400 gold lead, finally in G&E Aquamarine's favor here.
Absolutely, and that was an amazing flash by the Vi, right? Like we said, not even sure it could flash like that, but he made it look absolutely easy, smurfing on them with the ball, getting 70s herself another kill, like you said, and this is going to be a super scary Orianna, right? Like 2 items, Orianna already deals kind of insane damage, but once that 3rd item hits, once that 3rd item Shadow Flame or 3rd item Void Staff comes through, oh boy, it's not looking good for the side of Radiant Core. I think he had the Gale Force in that fight. I'm not sure. He didn't even get a chance to use it. It was just so instantaneous, right? The cease and desist into the Orianna combo, into the Vi Q, everything was just so perfectly timed. Didn't even have a chance to flash or heal or dash away with the Gale Force. So I don't know, just needs to be positioned that little bit better. Maybe go for the rapid fire cannon just to kind of stand that more outside of their range and look to kite away from it as well using Suwu. But 30 seconds left on or up till this Drake, and all 5 members again looking to group down on the spot side of the map.
Yeah, for sure. Is now. They're seeing both teams orient themselves towards the bottom half of the map. You know what that means. The Drake is about to spawn in about 20 seconds here. Now we have a stun charge for Scariad here, and Attack Titan does have Paranoia back online. We have full ultimate economy, as the Overwatch casters like to say for both teams here, is now Doggeroo fighting Strikeka on the side here. Platypus Killer looking for the engage as well. There's the cease and desist. Might have been used a little too early here. There's the Paranoia coming down on the back side here, taking incredibly low. This is not the initiation they were looking for, but they finally be able to find something here. Now they've turned into a little animal right there. Now they're taken down as now the fight continues. 4v3 victory slash. There's a great hook from Fadeaway from downtown. Holy moly, victory slash. Meanwhile, dashing through, this team does so much damage. Double kill for themselves. Holy moly, this started out like a team fight that was looking in Infernal Dive's favor, but now very quickly it turned into a 4-for-2 in favor of G&D Aquamarine here.
Absolutely, like you said yourself, it was looking kind of lost for the side of G&E Aquamarine. That fight was really not the best fight you could take from the side of Strayeka and Platypus Killer. You don't want to be making make a play onto Doggeroo. Like the Darius is irrelevant. Even though he is split off, you don't have damage on your team. It's not going to be an easy kill. And when you have to use cease and desist, I was like, oh no, they lost at this point, right? They're using cease and desist onto the Darius. But somehow, I think it's mostly Makie here is able to find the hugely important hook that they necessarily need to hit. It's going to be right here. Boom, beautiful, max range hook, pulls in the ante, they instantly burst him down. The Gale Force, the Q, the E, the dash, then the Lucian just has so much damage. 70s, no slouch either with that Orianna. They just made it look, they just turned around that losing play and turned it into something absolutely beautiful.
Yeah, for real, and now they are still ahead in gold right here. That's Paranoia. They're diving onto Cho'Gath here. It is a 3v1, make it a 4v1. Cho'Gath definitely in some trouble here. Doggeroo looking for the Noxian Guillotine, not going to be able to find it, but still able to pick up the kill. Put some damage onto the blue team here and scare them off of Baron for just a little bit longer, but they do have the man advantage for a little bit longer if they want to maybe re-engage this Baron right here.
Yeah, I don't think they want to go for Baron. I think the Baron start was a bait, and it was a really well executed bait to get on to Shrika. But the issue is the target you ended up picking was Shrika. I think if it was anyone else, you can instantly burst them out. You can generally instantly kill them, and then you can go back to the Baron because their team is missing, you know, either a jungler or damage, right? Shrika just happened to be one of the two options where even if he dies, it kind of doesn't matter because he took too long to kill him, or he wasn't really a threat in the first place. So good play, good bait, but this could be Doggeroo. Does take a turn, but I think he could get
there's
baked
a
out here.
lot of red team members making their way up here. There's this cease and desist already. Culling coming through as well. Rupture going to keep him CC'd inside the Rupture there as they're able to find the kill onto Darius. But I love this answer from Infernal Dive here. You send 4 people top in order to kill the Darius. We're going to grab your outer mid-tier turret to put some gold into our pockets. 500 gold now separates these two teams at 25-45.
Yeah, Blab's Killer doesn't have the cease and desist, so they couldn't even make a play in the mid lane if they wanted to. But one thing they can do is they can make a huge threat towards this Baron, and they do it relatively quickly, especially with Cho'Gath having the smite on his, you know, ultimate. That's double smite for them, so they can burst this down at around, what, 2,000 HP roughly? And some change, though. Very dangerous position, but that's Radiant Cord.
Oh, yeah. Radiant Core going down. This is a horrible start to this fight here. Scariot not landing the stun either. Platypus Killer looking for Suicidal here. Going to use that Q. Get real close. Wild Growth comes out. Platypus Killer still on the hunt here. Going to throw out that Q one more time, but going to dash away as now the red team on top of this Baron here. Going to use Consume instead of Smite. Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, really? Someone didn't read how much true damage it does to monsters. As that's going to be the hook. That's going to be Paranoia coming across. Maybe being able to dash onto someone here, but still not quite yet. What a crazy amount of kills here for the red team. Is here is the replay.
Really nice hook to start that off from Machina, and then it's just two different fights, right? It's just the Lucian doing Lucian things, outplaying the mobile AD carry or the mobile mage, and then Suwu kiting Platypus Killer out till the next infinity, right? It's just so hard to catch the Lulu once she gets that going. They pick up the Baron, they pick up the Attack Titan off the back of it. So really nice play and really good for a team that was kind of looking really down in this early game. Ever since that 3-0 on Radiant Cord, he's only gotten 1 more kill and 4 more deaths. So hasn't been able to find anything ever since they got in that Gale Force. And that's just kind of one of the pitfalls that you can fall into with having an ADC get those early kills, is that the enemy team just chooses not to play for it, or you miss position on it. And there have been 2 times where Radiant Cord did end up mispositioning in the fights, and it just kind of lost in those fights.
Yeah, luckily now Radiant Cord isn't the only member with gold on their team, right? They definitely do have that 2-item power spike, like you said. They definitely have some decent damage in their pockets, but it's not like that's the only thing they got, right? They have the Nocturne, they have the Darius as well, so you know, it's just rough because Radiant Cord is against a Blitzcrank and a Vi, who is very easy to single them out in a team fight.
Absolutely, and with an Orianna on top of that, it just makes their team fight that much better. With 25 seconds left on this Drake, they're going to be walking in blind.
They walk directly into that culling there. Look at Suicidal's HP bar right there. Just above half HP there. And now, once again, they're still so walking blind into this river here. Here comes Strikaka here and Platypus Killer. They're coming into trying to clear out these wards, trying to make as much darkness for Infernal Dive here as possible, because this is Earth's Soul. This is Earth's Soul right here.
And it's already getting started up. I think, yeah, it wasn't a real chance of contest.
Alrighty, they're gonna play horror movie right here. Okay, gang, don't split up. Scooby and Shaggy, you're staying with us. Okay, we don't need to give you any Scooby snacks. But here comes Machia in from the side. Fred has a trap ready to go, looking for some more. Can't quite find it. They're looking for the initiation of fight. Are they still going? No way.
No,
all right. Yeah, they're backing away now.
Ooh, Machina over here on the support, super good at clearing out the wards, denying them vision. It was completely dark in that pit, in that area, and they just didn't have a chance. They were going to be walking blind in this so horribly. So, you know, that's going to be the Mountain Soul. That's going to be one of the strongest souls in the game going over to them, and it's going to be hugely important going into this fight, potentially around this mid-turn. And honestly, all eyes on Machina, right? Just looking for that crucial hook onto a crucial target. Whether or not it's Scariot, whether or not it's Radiant Cord, whether or not it's Suwu, kind of is up to him. Or he could pull the wrong target and pull in Doggeroo or Attack Titan.
Yeah.
So He's really got a 3-2 chance, or a 3-5 chance of hitting the right target, and a 2-5 of kind of messing over his team.
I mean, I'll still take the 60-40, right?
Yeah,
I'll still
take those
odds.
odds.
60-40, I'll take those. That's good. I feel like if I was presented with Fire Emblem, you have a 60% chance to hit a thing. I'd take that. I'd take that 100% of the time.
Yeah.
Once again, yeah, certainly not bad odds, but this is definitely looking to be pretty good for GENA or GNDA here so far. I mean, they're now sitting pretty comfortably about 3,000 gold up on their opponents, and now also having the Dragon Soul as well. Once again, Doggeroo is going to have a lot harder time getting through these HP bars now with these this Earth Drake's shield as well, and also the passive resistances they've gotten from the Drake as well. There's a lot of things that G&D Aquamarine have. It's going to make it a lot harder for Doggeroo to really do efficient damage.
Absolutely, and you know, we're talking about items, we're talking about build, and he went Hullbreaker, right? I think that item is really, really rough, right? I think Darius would much rather benefit. He does have the innate, you know, armor penetration, but he would much rather benefit, and his whole team as well, from a Black Cleaver here. I think it does so much work. You have Radiant Cord who's going to be hitting multiple people with the Renance Hurricane. You're going to have Attack Titan also hitting multiple, or not multiple members, but hitting members with just auto attacks, right? So Doggeroo would have loved a Black Cleaver, maybe even Attack Titan, one of those two, just trying to help Radiant Core do more damage in these team fights, versus having the Hullbreaker, which is just going to be, you know, lose its extra stats as he groups up with his team in these fights.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I wanted to point out as well, because like it's not like the item to me is particularly bad, but Doggeroo just keeps grouping up with his team. Like he's look at where he is right now. He's mid. He's not bot. He's not top. He's not shoving a side wave. He's with his team in the mid lane. You're already losing out on your stats, and you know this might be a staple item for. Ooh. Radiant Core being pulled in there just really quickly, even though that might seem like a staple item for him right now. It's definitely not good, as that's going to be Attack Titan being pulled in here. Attack Titan taking incredibly low, going to have to eat that wild growth, but that's going to be the Ignite ticking and taking them down. So now that's going to be diving for Scary at below half HP. That's going to be the cease and desist as well. Ball's in the middle of the team, but not going to quite execute on that shockwave just quite yet. 3 versus 5. They're looking for more. Platypus Killer dives right in, but immediately going to dash away here as Makia still looking for some sort of hook into the enemy team. They have 5 members here. They don't quite have a minion wave, so they're going to pick up this inhibitor and back away.
Maybe they keep going for it. They do have a wave, but no, they're going to just call it off. They're just going to go for the quick and easy little Baron. And oh man. First it started off with a great shockwave by 70. She managed to find the Jinx just barely on the tail end of it, force out the Gale Flash, force out the heal, and then with the Jinx kind of out of the fight already, they could just go right in onto Attack Titan, hit another great hook, and then just, you know, play from there. Pick up the first turret off of that, then pick up the inhibitor plus the inhibitor turret off of Scary getting, you know, flashed on by Platypus Killer. And this man has been so on point with his flash cues, right? Just always hitting them, always knowing the correct judgment of distance, and just really surprising the enemy team. I think Scary had Zhonya's at the point, so the fact that they weren't even allowed to use it, it kind of speaks volumes to how good Platypus Killer is on the buy.
Yeah. And now I see them picking up the Emerald Circlet here, which is going to be another way for them to defend themselves against the Blitzcrank hooks, which at this point is probably going to be the most impactful item that Annie can build, considering that they just have so much damage already between the Zhonya's and the Leandri's Torment, right? So, excuse me. Ooh.
Ooh.
We're burping just a little bit. It's all good. But yeah, I mean, this is going to be a good opportunity. I think the only other thing that they can build at this stage is probably a Void Staff, right? But there isn't a whole lot of MR to cut through on the enemy team. A lot of the resistances right now that the G&D Aquamarine have is armor, but you know, it's once again, it's going to be really tough to find a good team fight here, because look at these split pushes that are happening by the red team here.
Yeah, they're just shoving in mid, making sure they have mid priority, and then they're going to be shoving in top as well. I really do like this game plan. They're not even going to waste resources bot, because they don't need to go bot just yet. But with 22 seconds on this Elder, this could be the next play, but they're kind of diverting attention, drawing attention to the Shogun on top side, and the play's going to be made, but Elder spawning in 10 minutes, or 10 seconds.
That's going to be the... It's going to be Paranoid coming across here. Striker Cub 1v4ing right here. Eating a couple ultimates and able to walk away with a 1-for-1 That's insane. That's insane. You take that every day of the week, right?
Yeah, especially when that 1-for-1 is the Nocturne. Buddy can't even get close to steal this no matter what they try to do. And that's just going to be the easiest Elder pickup I've ever seen in my entire life. That was textbook macro.
Yeah, now Suicidal is down too, which means Radiant Cord is now that much more vulnerable. This is not great, right? This is probably the end of the game right here. They have to do something sneaky, but Doggeru's been caught out by a ward, and the Elder Drake Execute is going to find him as well. And now only 2 members remain. Attack Titan is going to spawn in about 5 seconds here. Makia throwing out the laugh, going to throw out a little bit of BM as they're collapsing onto the Nexus here. Here comes Attack Titan right here. Does have that paranoia up in a little bit, but he has to do something. It's do or die time. The Nexus is going down. They have to do something. They're diving onto Jinx, but the Nexus explodes before they can find that last bit of damage. G&E Aquamarine 2-0 victory over Infernal Dive are going to move on in the lower bracket for ZGG Gold playoffs.
Wee, Shinkari, that was a game and a half. Like I said, I really thought Infernal Dive smurfed in the early stages. I really thought they did enough to eke out a victory there, but apparently G&E just has more left in their tank. They said, you know what? You are getting these early plays. You are getting these early kills. You're making these team fights look really close. But we just have more synergy. We just have easier composition to pull off. That ball delivery system on the Vi, 70s and jungler's name, who I already forgot because I don't have memory worth anything. Platypus Killer. Thank you. Those guys were so on point with that combination. And then in the bot lane, Lucian just absolutely smurfing. Machina with the Blitzcrank, so deadly in both of these games. A really big part of just being there, right? A big part of their victory was just him threatening out those hooks, forcing them to not the best positioning spots. And then at the end of the day, also Striker, you have to hand it to him. Mans is a really good tank player.
Yeah, holy moly, just really well played by G&E Aquamarine here. And kind of in the early game there, we kind of thought like, okay, well, you know, it doesn't look very, very convincing here for G&E Aquamarine here, but they were able to very quickly pull that into their victories here, especially because Infernal Dive was doing so well in that bottom half of the map, and Jinx is a hyper carry. You know, the second that she gets a lead, it's very hard to stop her. But once again, G&E Aquamarine on a person who is very comfortable on Vi is going to be very hard for any sort of hyper carry to be successful on, especially when they have an Orianna back them up as well. And we saw that multiple times. Holy moly.
Yeah, that's the best way to sum up this game. Holy moly, they just made it look easy. And you know, you were talking about it, even though they had the Lulu, it was kind of like the Lulu just wasn't there. They just went right through the enemy team, dove onto the Jinx every single time, and Buddy just couldn't play the game.
Yeah, for sure. But with that, it's going to do it for us here. Thank you so much for tuning into Zero Gravity Gaming this evening. And if you haven't already, press that follow button for sure. I mean, we've got more League of Legends action for you to watch nearly every single day across multiple different skill levels of folks. We have the IBS League as well as the Plat League as well. So you don't want to miss out on any of that action. Really wacky and crazy games are happening across all those games, especially a Jungle Zeri that was picked up in the Plat League just a few days ago as well. So if you enjoy some really wacky picks, this is definitely the channel to follow. And if you're feeling generous, press that subscribe button as well. It definitely helps us out. But from everyone here at Zero Gravity Gaming, Arlen, my co-caster, and MXL, our producer for this evening, thank you all so much for tuning in, and we'll see you at the next match. Bye-bye.